All right, let's make some drums in EZdrummer for a cover of the song Rome by B-52s. Let's see. I actually have the beginning built a little bit. And I have a bass line, just like a placeholder that I made. It's like a MIDI bass just for building the drums, and then I'll record like a proper bass once that's all done. So you hear the kind of groove. It's a pretty standard kind of pop punk groove. So this one we'll put here, and I changed the articulation on this because Open Edge 4 is just like a little bit too open for my taste, so I'll switch that to 3. These grooves have fills built into them. I'm most likely going to change those later on, just so it doesn't sound so generic. Okay. The one thing I want to do is I want to put a cymbal hit here. And so that part, and then it kind of goes into a kind of a pre-chorus. So actually I'm gonna change this song part to be a verse, and then so this will be our kind of pre-chorus. And it changes articulation to we'll do it like a bell shank. Okay. Okay. Stop. Okay, so then we got a chorus coming up, and it's kind of the same. Same kick drum pattern. But what we're gonna do, this is now a chorus, and our power hand is gonna be this. So you see, like, one of the issues with using the same patterns is you get those same fills. So we are going to we'll change the fills eventually, but we'll get everything just kind of, you know, the basic skeleton of everything. I am hearing something in here that I'm not liking. So let's see. I hear it. So I don't want these kick drum hits right here and right here. Just doesn't match the groove. Okay, so then it goes into a kind of back to that beginning riff, the do. But I don't want to do it the same way. And I kind of have an idea for something more like 16th notes. So we'll try something like that. Let's go to 35 and see. Yeah, I actually think I prefer this. It's like more closed, but so one thing that we'll do is on the articulation here, we will actually, we're gonna do something. There's this little snare hit here that I don't like. So we're gonna get rid of that and add that. Merge those. Oh, hold on. Make sure the articulation is the right one. Hi-hat, tight edge. Okay. We might change some of the articulations on this hi-hat. We are going to adjust the velocity on it. We'll go to like 20. Okay, so what we're going to do to make this more interesting, so we're going to I think we'll get rid of this hit, and this one, we'll open it up and increase the articulation on that a little bit. Yeah. And then we're going to change this one here to the same thing, and I can just copy this, and we'll get rid of this little hit there. And actually, I want to change the kick drum pattern in this. So we're gonna add some kick drum hits just to give it a little more energy. It's gonna be more of a kind of 4 on the floor. Yeah. More of a 4 on the floor kind of vibe. So let's take this one out because we can kind of match the vibe of the riff. So it's like, so yeah. We're gonna open this up. So that's even a little better there. And you know, if I end up making a drum pattern that doesn't match the bass, I'll just, you know, like I find something better, then I'll just change it when I record the bass. Now, sometimes you have to get a little bit more detailed. And then we'll put a kick drum here, and yeah, so I am already hearing that the bass is gonna have to change away from just like that straight, just to match more with the thing we built here. And so then it goes back into the all this can be repeated because we go kind of verse pre-chorus, chorus again. I'm actually gonna change this song part to say fill, just so I know it's that break. And let's go now. and there's going to be another break. Oh, no, I think we've messed something up here. Let's see, because it's not matching what that bass line is. I see what's going on here. Let me just show you easy bass real quick. So what I have going is, oh, I see what's wrong. It's not a problem in easy bass, it's a problem with this. Forgot this part just repeats the one time. There we go. So let's go to 71. La 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 la. Where are we going? Yeah. So that, yeah. So this is the part where it repeats. So there it just goes the one time. But here it repeats. So then we're gonna go to a bridge of sorts, and I think maybe we'll try like a halftime thing here. It's not even like a bridge, it's like a guitar solo, not really a guitar solo. It's a part, there's a guitar riff, there's no lyrics. But let's see. Definitely not. We don't want anything. And so right here, I don't want anything with double kick, so I'm going to exclude that. That is too swingy for what we're going for. I'm kind of feeling like see, even when I took the double kick out, there's still and you know, these aren't gonna stay like this. I'm kind of feeling something like this, and okay, so yep, I kind of like that vibe. We'll mess around with this a little later, but one thing is I want to fill coming out of that that's like a buildup. Where is it? I have one saved that. There we go. We want the second half of this, and actually I'm gonna take the, I don't want the kick drum in this build-up, just the floor tom and the snare. Yeah. Cool, and then the verse, I believe, is just kind of one time around in this, before going into the pre-chorus, and there's like a build-up out of the pre-chorus too, I believe. Nope, it's gonna go again, that's right. And then the pre-chorus will go there. Big, big sky, deep gray, big sea, kick through, what's the bell? Yeah, it's gonna build up here, and the MIDI bass here isn't doing the right thing. So when I record, there's no punch on this last one. There's no like. Yeah. Yeah, so it'll go. We're gonna take out probably this kick drum hit here. And then, oh, right here for this, we're gonna change this to a bridge, so we just know that it's not related to the chorus. And then we get another chorus here. And then it'll go back to some kind of the same vibe as the intro for the riff. Okay, so it does that. Yeah, and then it's the outro. So the outro is just gonna be like really 4 on the floor, no problem with that, oops, is that there's too many crash hits. So we're gonna have to get rid of some of them. It like works for the ride, but with this we'll change the opening hit to that, and then for these crashes I want it to be like half the amount of crashes, like that. Yeah. And then this is like a fade out, so we'll just kind of do that, and then we'll have the basic skeleton, and then we can go back and add some flourishes, change some of the fills around, and just make it more interesting. Yeah, so that'll be a fade out there. Okay, so now we're back at the beginning. And we're gonna look for fills. And during the verses, we'll keep things kind of simple. I mean, that feels fine, but I just don't like using the fills from the pre-built grooves. I'd rather like come up with a new fill. So we're gonna start at 11. I have some like saved fills here, and sometimes I'll like chop them up. Like I really like this one. I mean, those are kind of basic. So if I did this, like, and actually we can do, oh gosh, I actually kind of like just the simplicity of this fill going into the chorus. And it's like, oh girl, down the dusty trail. Sorry. One thing I want to do is yeah, right here. I want to change this hit to here, and I actually want to get. I just want it to be at the start, just the same hit. Yeah. And it hits. Okay. fill here. So this is like a 2-bar fill, but I don't want to use 2 bars. I just want 1 bar, which we can just use. We can just use the beginning of it, but we might need to increase the intensity of the whole thing. So we'll do all playing drums, and we'll just up the articulation to right there and just see. Yeah, kind of like that. And then the other thing is, like, do we want a cymbal hit? I think so. Put a cymbal hit there. Yeah, and here again, I just am really feeling having this the same. Change that to there. I'm really liking this vibe. Coming out of it. And because this is like a, you know, the original doesn't have many flourishes as far as drums. It's pretty much just a steady backbeat. I kind of like coming out of it kind of crazy like that though. I'm gonna increase the velocity of this actually, I'm only going to increase the velocity on the snare just a touch. The problem with this is it's not really a very easy, I mean, you can't just like put in a number. You have to, and if you got shaky hands, the mouse will not be as accurate as you want. That is probably too much velocity on that last fill. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. But this fill, we put too much velocity on it. So let's just go like when it kicks out. There's definitely like a change in power. So question becomes, oh, do we just keep this the same for every chorus? I think at least we'll do it for this last chorus, and then maybe we'll switch it up a bit for the second chorus. And then for this verse, what we'll do is we're actually going to change the fill just a little bit. Instead of this, we're going to do this one because it's a little bit different. This part, the kind of like the only thing we're gonna change, we're gonna add like a little we're just going to add not much, just a that doesn't work. So we're gonna, here we go. We're just adding like a little snare drum. Maybe we, let's see. Yeah, I want it to go a little bit longer than that. So I know that this one, and we're not going to do the full thing, and I don't even want the fill to be that long. I want it to be about that long. So and then I just want to add a touch of velocity on the snare. That might be too much. And then on this pre-chorus, I'm just gonna stick with the same. Am I though? Yeah, we'll come back to that. I think it's fine. Again, the original, you know, this is a pop punk cover. The original has 0 drum flourishes. So really, it's just like, how complicated do you want to make it? In fact, though, I'm just like looking at the crash hits on these courses, and there's like too many. I want like half as many. So it doesn't always get all of them out the way you want. So we're going to take that one out, and we're going to take this one out. Can merge that, and then actually, so I can leave, because there's two different fills here, I can leave that fill and just copy this whole thing, and it'll only go up to there, which is nice. But yeah, there were too many crash hits there. I was just noticing. So it's like little things like that that'll make it sound more real. Because I don't think a drummer would be hitting what is essentially, like, I don't know if it would be 8th notes or 16th notes on the crash cymbal there, but they wouldn't be doing that. They'd be kind of, at least for this vibe, like just 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, quarter notes, just rocking it. Okay, so here we'll do that and do that, and basically I gotta decide, do I want to keep this fill the same? And honestly, again, as I'm thinking about this, some of these drum patterns are all going to be printed. Like I'm not going to mix directly from EZdrummer. I'm gonna, once I have the drum patterns that I want, I'm gonna print them and commit to them. That being said, when I record the bass, I might want to try and match some of the vibe that she does on the song, the bassist, and so I might change, the drum patterns might get changed a little bit depending on that, just to kind of lock in with the groove of the bass, and mostly that would happen in fills. In fact, probably only it would happen in fills. But, let's say we want to change a fill to these are like way too crazy. You don't want to do. I mean, I do like that fill, but let's see. I like this fill. The snare roll there, but I noticed I was using it a lot, so I don't want to do that. And I know drummers have, we all have our own, we have fills that we like to do over and over and over again. And like sometimes, so I have like this pop punk kind of song that I'm going through, but like maybe I want to go and get fills from the disco grooves pack that I have. And so like this one would be a similar vibe, but it would be a different pattern. Which might be good. But it's a way lower intensity, so let's do that. Let's see if it works. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think that'll work. And you got to kind of imagine what it's going to sound like. You know, there's going to be vocals and background vocals and guitars and, you know, a whole lot of instrumentation. And so you got to imagine that, like, if some, you know, you got to try to imagine what it's going to sound like in the whole composition. And then this also has a similar vibe, but is a different pattern. So we'll and all the playing drums, we're going to increase the velocity on this a little bit, not that much, that maybe. Okay, I'll want to do this same fill here. But the question is 75. So then it's like, how much do you want to kind of change the flourishes of this? Like, do you want to open this up a little bit, like right here? I kind of like that, but not that much. In fact, we'll do maybe like kind of a gradual opening. So that, you know, wasn't maybe enough. So this one we'll do 1, and this one we'll do 2. Yeah, something like that. so this part, might be a little too crazy, but maybe not. I don't want like a double kick right there. And the nice thing is, like, these beats, just changing little teeny bits like that, and then putting them into the context of, you know, this is, I think, from the thrash metal MIDI kit, but I don't know if I like this part, because just it's a little too thrashy. So we'll see. We'll see what we can do. Yeah, see that. Oh, one thing we could try is what would it sound like if we did this? See, the issue is that we're coming out of a fill, like, into a snare hit with a cymbal, so we don't want it to you almost need, see what they had here, yeah, is you're going into kick drum hits. So actually, and it just, you know, makes it sound natural, whereas if you're like doing a roll on a floor tom, it would be hard for a drummer to go from that to like a hit on a snare and a cymbal, and this cymbal, out of that fill. So I'm wondering if like this fill would work better. Yeah, something like that. And then actually what I would like to do is right here put a kick hit, and I don't want those. I want to see what we got going on here. So we got a snare roll. We're just going to divide this fill up to see what we got going on. So what we're going to do is move that to there, move that to there, and then we're going to, it's It's weird, it's still coming up as the power hand is a China, but what we're gonna do is, there we go. I like that a little better. I just don't want any double kick. There we go. Okay. Oh, yeah, that's what we need a fill here. And actually what we'll do is we'll just use the fill that we've been avoiding. See the great big sea, kick through continents, what's the bell? Yeah, we're gonna build it up more on this one. We're gonna actually build it up for 2 bars. Gotta get rid of this. And then actually what we're gonna do here is get rid of the snare, get rid of the floor tom, put a kick hit in, and do the same here. I think that'll sound like what I want. Yeah. And so you'll notice it does not match up with the bass here. So when I re-record the bass, it's just there's a little like ghost note here that I don't think we need. That's what's going on. For this part, the ghost note isn't really needed. You know what I'm gonna do though is I'm gonna change that to like hitting the snare with two hands. Okay. Sometimes when you try and just like slide something into... There we go. So it's gonna now be like a double. Let's see if we can see it on here. There we go. That's what you want. And so it builds up on the floor tom and the snare, and then right before it'll be two hits on the snare. Yeah, like two sticks on the snare. And so that is it, because on the well, let me just see this fill piece on the outro. We're actually going to go back to that same same fill. Yeah. Oh, I want to get rid of these. I want to do a different fill here. Oops. And I know exactly what I want to do. Actually, I want to take this fill that we did earlier, but I want to cut it up to do something like something like this. Don't like this fill. We're gonna see how these go. That's fine, but I kind of did that same one earlier, so let's... And these are just ones that I know that I like and I can cut up in the ways that I want. But you know, there's like so many fills. I'm just wondering if... You know what? I like that. I like that. It's going to be way slower though, so we'll see if it's still... Yeah, that's not going to work. That's not going to work. It's just because this is a fill from a 240 beat. You know, and to slow it down to 170, it's just not gonna work. Sometimes you can get them to work, but let's do where is there we go, that's what I want. So let's speed up here. Yeah, we just need to match the velocity. So again, we'll go up to like 20 to 25 and see if that matches. Yep. And I'm not going to worry about changing the fill here because this will be fading out. The one thing I did notice is on these hi-hat parts, there's maybe too many. Yeah, I want to take some of these hi-hat hits out. There we go. Just it'll sound cleaner, and it's how I would play it for real. And that's something I always think about as well, is how would I actually play this. And I'm not going to be playing the hi-hat that fast on these parts. I'm going to just be, yeah, I'm not going to be, I'm just going to be doing quarter notes. Okay, so that is our song. And things might change a little bit when like guitars and vocals and everything come in and I re-record the bass, or I record the bass rather, instead of having this like MIDI thing going on. But the MIDI bass is helpful just for like a quick, easy songwriting, song building, and all that kind of stuff. It just doesn't have the, it kind of has a fake vibe. Not always, you can manipulate that. And then the question is 170 a good tempo? Like, is 180 better? Yeah, it might be a little too fast, but that'll be something I play, like maybe 175 or 174 is better, you know. That'll be something I'll play around with before I lay down the actual guitars and vocals. Yeah, either 170 or 175. We'll see. Okay, that is building drums in EZdrummer.